Okay, check, 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 check. Clicker. Perfect. Що? No, да. It's working. Okay, so good evening, everyone. May I have your attention, please? So we are starting, and we are already broadcasting, so thank you for your event, for coming here in person, and also thank you for those who are online or joining the presentation. So let me start first with the saying who am I. I am Nastya, and today I will talk about the Bridge project. And first I also want to share with you the plan for this presentation. So first I will start by saying who am I, my experience, my education, my previous background of how I came here eventually. Also, what is Bridge, what is the Bridge project, and some existential questions. Maybe you didn't expect those, but they are here, and I will later explain you why. Also, how you can volunteer in Ukraine, but staying here at your home from your place. And the final one is an inspiring story from a Ukrainian farmer, which I find really inspiring, and I hope you will also share this feeling with me. So let's start. As I mentioned, my name is Nastya. I was born in Odessa. I'm from Ukraine. I live there now, and my education being kind of different one. So because first I gained the education in bachelor degree as an international law, and then I got master degree just in law. So do you hear me okay, or is this thing I see that? Okay, that's nice. So yeah, thank you for coming here. Thank you for your presence, and thank you. That means a lot, even though it's not a lot of people, but still I will try to share all the details and share with you some of my heart and some of my experience. So let's start by saying that, as I said, I got the degree in international law. Then for some years in my life, I've been a public servant. I was working in the Ministry for Foreign Affairs. And then I actually lived and worked here in Brussels for 3.5 years in mission of Ukraine to the European Union, which was really interesting part of my life. And I gained a lot of experience like in communication with different embassies, with different people from all over the world. And it kind of shaped me because it was also like my first job after I finished the university. So I'm really grateful for this experience that I have. After that, I came back to Ukraine, and I also worked for a really little time as a public servant. But then I quit it in 2014 when the war started. And by war, I mean 2014 with the Crimea invasion. So then I decided to ask myself what I really want, because public servant was something that I really wanted, but at that moment I decided, no, I have to ask myself what I really want, and that's where the ego came. So, and my ego, as some might know, that the questions like, what do you want? What you wanted when you were a child? What were your childhood dreams? And my childhood dreams were to become an actor. So that's where I started to pursue acting career. And I did become an actor, and it was also nice. It gave me experience in different kind of fields. Also, I was an actor in a theater and also in a movie. But it's also been part of my life, because in 2022, I became a war refugee, because I had to evacuate my country, and with the full invasion started in 2022. So those pictures are actually me as a public servant, and on the right, it's a picture of me playing the public servant, which I was really good, because I did have this experience in my life, so I didn't have to pretend, because I had this. And yeah, so after a while, so this is the Kiev in 2022. It's not the view from our apartment, that is the view from the area where I lived, where we lived with my ex-husband and our 2 cats. So talking about this experience, you already probably talked with the people who experienced this in Kiev, who were staying there. And I'm really grateful that I'm here now, because I also have one story to share, because when it all started in February, like we were talking with one of my friends who was in Gostomel, and we actually were on the phone, and he was asking who should come to who. Like, either we should come to him to stay in his place because he lived in a private house on the first floor, or we from our 18th floor, because in Kiev we were staying on the 18th floor, and if the rocket come, it would not be the best ending. So we were kind of debating who could go to who. But we stayed in our place, and yes, thanks God, thank the something. We're here, and also he survived, but he's been under the occupation for 1 month. So if I would go there with my ex-husband, we would also stay there, and which is not a great experience. Maybe you heard about Bucha and Gostomel, so those pictures were horrible, and those experiences were horrible. But yeah, I'm still here now. And this is 2022 when I arrived to Italy in my immigration. And it was the first time experience working with the kids, also working with Italian kids. For 40 kids we had, and 2 Ukrainians. That's why I've been there, because as a translator, as also a help to those tutors. And it was kind of interesting because I never thought that in my life I would work with the kids. I would be like a tutor or a teacher or something. But I really liked that. And the kids, the heart that they opened from them, what they were telling me. Even though I didn't speak Italian when I arrived, I spoke English. I do know something of Italian or of French, but it was not enough. But kids were so kind that they were really greeting me and really calm and really warm, and so this also gave me some kind of feeling of their good, I don't know, empathy, that the kids show the best empathy as far as I know. So it was also something that I learned from them. And finally, in 2022, in the end of this year, I decided to kind of also follow my desires, follow my something, my inner voice. I would say that I always wanted to be a volunteer, and I decided to join the volunteering program, 10 months program. It's like 3 months preparation in Denmark, and then 6 months in India, and 1 month the work, I don't know how to, the reports, doing the reports, I would say. So this is me. We went to India, and by we, I mean because in this audience there one person who went with me. And yeah, so this was as work. We being like a teachers for future teachers in primary schools, and also we were able to go to local schools. And we were able to give some classes, to tell our stories and all that, even though not many kids were able to speak English. But because of that experience that we had, we were able to play with them, to show them something, to show to show them that we are here for them, and we can hear them out, we can play with them, we can also be part of their lives. Which was good, and which also gave me the feeling that, okay, I'm needed even here. Because also in Denmark, because before we left for our project, one guy, he asked me actually a question that it is kind of existential question, because he told me, how do you feel going to other country and volunteer there while in your country is war? Which was really hard question for me, because I replied, okay, this is my dream. So I'm easily following my dream. I want to go there. And maybe I will gain some experience there, will help me to do something in future. But his question gave me kind of the thought that maybe I should rethink what I'm doing. But still I'm grateful that he asked me that question, because later on I was able to do this project, which is kind of also based on the volunteering. And as moving forward, in 2025, when I came back to Ukraine in 2023. And ever since then, like I stay there, and I'm living in Odessa under kind of almost everyday attack, drone attacks, sometimes, unfortunately, rocket attacks. And even though I wanted to start this presentation by admitting, like I wanted to say that let's face the elephant in the room. But the elephant in the room that last couple of days in Odessa and in Kyiv, and also all over the Ukraine, the attacks were horrible. I don't know as far as you follow the news, but I called several of my friends who are now staying in Kyiv or in Odessa, and I need to calm them down, because attacks and the sound of it was horrible, was terrifying. And the thing that those friends told me, that now they feel this feeling that they want to leave now, and that's the moment when they want to feel this life, so they don't want to like give up on this. So I'm really kind of emotional about this because this happened like a few days ago. And I thought that, okay, the presentation about coming volunteers to Ukraine, it is dangerous, of course, I understand. But we live there. And by we, I mean all Ukrainians are. Because it's kind of more or less 30 million people, is like 3 times as Belgium. So we live there, we work there, kids going to schools, people are opening businesses, people are doing their jobs, or they are working, we are working there. So it is kind of a hard thing to even give this presentation, but still, I'm grateful and I will try to do my best. So, in Odessa, back to the presentation. In Odessa in 2025, I started doing this project as also volunteering. I started to give English-speaking club for local community in our local library. So it's basically kids coming once a week, a Sunday, and I just talk with them. I constantly talking with them in English, and also I'm giving them some rules, but basically my goal is just to talk with them. So they will be able to speak with the foreigners, so they will be able to, if they go abroad, just to speak, basically. And I was able to invite some guests from all over the world, I would say once a week also. So they join just by Zoom and they talk with them. And even if in January they were not as so enthusiastic about this, or they were super shy, they couldn't speak, they couldn't ask their questions. So now, kind of half a year later, they are really open, they now even asking. So we had guests from Belgium, from Italy, from Portugal, and from India. So now at least they know where the countries are, so they point those on the geography map. And also they kind of asking who's going to be the next. Now they're asking for the people from Japan, but unfortunately I don't know anyone from Japan, but I know some, so maybe we'll see. So this is also a good thing, because they're not stuck in their situation, they're not stuck at war, but because sometimes they come on Sunday and the night could be horrible. And they could tell me, oh, the night was so bad, but now we have time to play, to talk, to just meet some people from different countries. And also those people, they can share their stories, they can tell something that will lift them up, that will lift their spirit up. So for this, I'm really grateful that I have this kind of opportunity with the kids. And now I will ask you I will just point some questions on the board, like some existential questions, like why do I live? What is my purpose? And am I responsible for my life? I will explain later why asking those questions, because I started to ask those questions not so long time ago. Maybe I even know where exactly, because I will not ask you to answer those questions, but to keep them kind of in mind. And why I ask those questions? Because this person, he was a teacher in my life. He was the Ukrainian scholar, philosopher, theologian, and he's the kindest person that I ever met. And I will tell you briefly about his story. So he was captured and unfortunately tortured in Donetsk for his, I would say, pro-Ukrainian mood. He was tortured by militants in Donetsk, and I would say he spent 700 days, as it says there, and I don't know if you can imagine this, but he was tortured kind of almost every single day, and he spent months in a single room, in solitude cameras, which was really, I think, was really hard experience for him. But what I'm saying, that he kept his love and his empathy, and when I met him in 2021, it was really life-changing experience for me, because I saw the person who even survived all those horrible, horrible things, but he still was the kindest person that I ever met. And I always thought that if that person would be able to survive this, and if that person would be able to keep this love and empathy in his heart, maybe I can also do this. So he was a teacher in all ways that possible. And also he started to ask us as also his students, kind of why are you leaving? What is your purpose? Are you really responsible for your life, or government responsible for your life, or your spouse, or your partner, or your parents? So this also gave me the feeling that, no, I should really take responsibility for my own life. Also, not my ego, not my desires, but something more meaningful. And also he was the one who taught me several questions. Like, he also told the story that in the prison, because he was surrounded by obviously criminals and those kind of people, I would say. So those people, they started not to swear in his presence because he was so intelligent, he was so polite, and so they felt it, and they called him professor, if I'm not wrong. But he started to ask those people, not the question, why are you doing this, but what purpose? Like, what does it give to you? For example, he was asking them, like, not why are you smoking? Because yes, smoking, it is understandable, it is a habit, but does it give something to you back? Because does it give you something for living for, or does it have any meanings in your life? And this is also what I'm trying to ask in my life, and trying to ask those questions kind of every single moment. So he was kind of the inspiration and a teacher in my life that I can tell you for sure. And that's how also I started to think about the Bridge project and how we can bridge people and bridge cultures, and how is it even in my hand to do so. Okay, I know some people from all over the world, like, can they really come to Ukraine? Or I can do all those online sessions, and would it be enough? So I think about the Bridge project as something that you can come to Ukraine and you can share, like, this week with the kids, with the teenagers, with the adults, and share also your story. So this story is about, like, I would say, like, win-win situation, because you sharing something, and also those kids, those people will share back to you. So the project is, as I said, 1 week visiting opportunity to Odessa. And during those weeks, first, Odessa will be mentioned. And Odessa has the huge history. I'm not saying that it's like 2,000 years of history when the first Greek people came and settled their settlement, but it is really it has really diverse culture. And by diverse, I mean because there have been people, many, many nationalities, and it's really beautiful. Also, Flemish people were involved in building Odessa, which is also interesting thing to mention. And I found that Odessa really beautiful in architecture, the sea, and everything. Even though, like, it's not safe, but still we are all living there. And Odessa is around 1 million people who live there constantly. Our mission and our vision. So I also want to share a story how also kind of this project came to me, because I remember the story when I was 9 years old. So the foreigner came to my school in Odessa, and I remember this so well, because he came, and I was I wanted to ask him questions, but I was really embarrassed to ask him questions, because I didn't have this experience in my life before. I was so scared, and the other guy, he was asking those questions, like, what is your favorite book? What is your favorite color? And I was so jealous because I wasn't able to ask those questions, because I was afraid. I was never in this position. So after this kind of meeting, I decided, okay, I need to learn English. I need to have this bridge to the other cultures, to the other worlds. So every time when I would listen to some cassettes, if you remember DVD cassettes, so I would listen to not the dubbing, but for the English part. So I would understand what every word means in my language, and also what does it mean in English language. So it was like a changing point at my life, when some person changed my perspective, changed my view. So it is also like the goal for people to come to Ukraine, that I want them to come to Ukraine to maybe share some story. So maybe this encounter for the kids, for the adults, will be their life changing something, where it will change their trajectory in their life. So they will be inspired to do something with their life to open more, because some kids and some people live in Ukraine and they don't go abroad. Many people, like, for example, many kids in my group, they never been abroad. Sometimes they never even been outside of the city from Odessa. So if some people come and they say that there's the world around you, you can go actually. It's hard to understand, but maybe will be kind of understandable for them to go and change their desires, what they want to do. So basically, the mission is energetic and cultural exchange between people. And also, I do believe, as I said, in things like, if you can lighten one heart, for example, in the room, so maybe this heart will lighten another one, and like a circle, like a gap of those things, like a chain, sorry. English is not my first language. So it could be like a chain for those people to change something around them, like their surroundings, their environment. So basically it's about empathy, it's about inspiration, it's about bridging the people, bridging the cultures. And also the question, maybe some of you thought about it, maybe not, like why now? Why during the war? And I don't know how far you're familiar with the like Global Peace Index report, but 2024 says that last year it's been like 56 wars ongoing worldwide and also 92 countries involved. So if in the world we have like 200 approximately, so it's half of the countries worldwide are involved in those conflicts. And even yesterday, I asked ChatGPT the question, like how many conflicts now in the world in 2025? And he replied actually that it's around 100. And why he's saying 100? Because also like 56 conflicts, it's like between the countries, and 100, it's because the different understanding of the conflict, because some of them are local. And that's why we have now like 100 conflicts in the world. And also we have, as it says, like 100 million people who are refugees or displaced unwillingly. I think this is horrifying, and also like because I started to follow those numbers also in kind of in 2021, because for example, a person asked me like, okay, you care about war in Ukraine, for example, maybe you know about some other wars, but do you know about any other conflicts that are happening now in Africa and other regions? And I honestly said that no, I don't know, maybe I can name 10, but I cannot name all of them. And also, for example, if I ask you, do you know about Tigray and how many people died there from 2020 to 2022? And this number in the internet, it says it's around 500,000 people died during all those 2 years. This is also kind of scary. And so what I'm heading that the numbers are only rising, unfortunately. So we live in a world of uncertainty, and no one knows kind of where the next war gonna be. But yeah, my perspective that I live in Ukraine, I'm not gonna leave Ukraine. I'm not gonna live somewhere else. So, and this is the honest question, like, is it safe in Ukraine? Definitely no. But we live there, and also the schools are closed now, so the school's going to be open only from September. So maybe in September some changes will come. And so the program highlights, as I already said, that the basic point of it, that you will go, the volunteers who will join the program, they will go to the schools. Also, they will be able to visit some local communities, local initiatives, meet with the students, meet with the adults, with the local English-speaking clubs. And also, like, this would be the work of the volunteer to come to Ukraine. But also don't forget, mention the cultural, because I don't want to call it tourism, or because some people do come to Ukraine for the war tourism. It's kind of different, because basically you will see the culture around you, you will be able to go to the museums, to talk with the people, to kind of grab some cultural differences. Also, this is all part of the program, and you will be able to do this during the week. Also, you will deliver some presentations if you want to, or some lead some master classes. All basically only speak English with some people. Also, can give them something back. So this is, I just wanted to show you the circle, as I call it, I don't want to call it age circle. So you will have the old perspective, how people live from the all kind of different ages and group. So the kids, those are the students who also the volunteers can meet. The adults, English-speaking clubs or other initiatives, and also the elderly people, which we as a bridge, and also we help other volunteers who helping the elderly people in Ukraine to kind of survive. I don't want to use the word survive, but it is what it is, because they have pension around 40 euro for months. So, and for this 40 euros, they have to cover their expenses on living, on their food, on their medicine, and all of that. So for 40 euro, it's basically not enough. And some people are really starving because they don't have food. So this is also will be part of the program if volunteers willing to witness I would call it poverty, and also to talk with those people, to ask questions like why this happened. Like, for example, we have one lady who been like a tourist guide all her life, and now she has to survive on those little money. So yeah, this is also will be something that you will witness and you will see during your time in Ukraine. So what is covered? There were some questions before the presentation, like what is covered, what is not covered. Basically, your travel to Ukraine is not covered, your insurance, and also food, because we have all kind of different food preferences. What is covered? The covered is accommodation, program transportation within the program, full-time support as our team, registration as a volunteer, and also some activities, excursion, and all of the cultural program. So the requirements from you. This is English, so you will be able to talk with the schools, within the teachers, tutors, directors, an open heart, a desire to help, and also the thing that should be mentioned, the clean criminal record, because as you might work with the kids and for the safety reasons, this is really important. So, and the fee for the participation of 1 week staying in Odessa is 400 euros. So, the question, how can I volunteer in Ukraine from home? This is what we are doing once a week. Once a week during the months. The English. Okay, even though I could do without it, but still, we need it. Okay, so English Speaking Club, which I mentioned before. If you want to join the volunteering or you want to participate in something that you can do actually from home, you can contact us and we will be able to send you the link and you will just talk with the kids once a week for only 30 minutes of your time. So as other participants, they didn't give the presentation, but they just simply shared their screen. And on the screen, while they were talking, for example, my friend from Portugal, he was talking about some dishes or some beaches, and he started to show this on the screen. And the kids were super excited when they were seeing this on the screen. Because one way, of course, is talking, but the other way to show them like live when you're talking. So this is something new that we tried, but still they're excited to talk with some person, to ask, to share, to say like, hey, come to Ukraine. And sometimes people would be like, I'm not planning to, but it is something that kids are asking. And it's something that, what do you know about Ukraine? Because also we started to ask some guests, like, what do they know about Ukraine? And the answer is sometimes that they don't know really much about Ukraine. Or kids, I also ask kids to prepare something, what do they know about Portugal? Or what, obviously, Ronaldo was the first one about the Portugal that they said. And about the French, the Belgium, they said fries. And yeah, so this is something really meaningful for me, for the kids, because they're able to open this window to the world. And they also can, kind of for 1 hour of their time, they can also go out of their box that they are living now. And also the world will be not the only thing that they are living. And it's something to talk about. And so, yeah, if any of the volunteer online or here interested, so you can also join us in this initiative that we are doing. So coming almost to the final part, the inspiring story from Ukraine. This is Mark, and he is the Ukrainian farmer. He was working outside of the Ukraine till the 2022, the full invasion, and he was living somewhere abroad. He was doing farming, he was doing small works, but when the full invasion started, he decided that he wanted to come back and to live in his hometown, close to his hometown, and to do something meaningful for his country. So they're like, I don't want to divide people, but there were people who left Ukraine for the security reason, for their own reasons, and there were people who still came back to Ukraine and started doing something within Ukraine, because there was their purpose, there was something that they really wanted. So for me it is inspiring because not also I came back, because also I came back from kind of not many reasons, but for some reason, obviously my parents, live in Odessa. My ex-husband also, he's in army, but he also there. And so for Mark, it was also a story for him to help somebody in Ukraine, because also on his project at the farm, where I also visited, he also helping the families of the militants. And the military also come to him for the kind of rehabilitation center. So, and it's something that he's doing. He's growing the big garden, and he has this enthusiastic core in him, because he also fighting the corruption in Ukraine, which I also think is really important. Maybe you heard about Ukrainian corruption or something. So he's fighting the deforestation and also the illegal wind building. So this is also something that on the talk, because he's talking about this, he's covering this, and I think that this is a really good thing that we are facing in Ukraine, and also trying to fight it, so also trying to build our own civil society. So he's kind of the example of the good civilian, of the good person who's trying to build his own country, even though at wartime and even though in those hard times, I would say. And it felt, when I met him, it's also felt really touching, because he has really good heart, and he's always saying that yes, we should believe in good things. And I'm back, and I'm not regretting, because now he cannot leave the Ukraine, because men cannot go. I can go outside, but the men, they're not allowed to go outside. So I have this opportunity. And he asked me also the question, like, how would you feel if you wouldn't have this kind of opportunity? And I said, yes, obviously I would feel really sad. But I think maybe I would find something in it. So also as you did, as you found something in it. So you're doing your purpose, you're doing your goals, and which is also inspiring for me and for people who follow him, people who are around him. So yeah, I hope this story was kind of inspiring, more or less. And yeah, this is kind of the final thing that I want to say. See you next time in Ukraine. And here actually, I also wanted to, once again, a friend suggested me that maybe here at the final I would share my values or how I see the life, why I'm staying in Ukraine. But I think I already shared it during the presentation. So I think that this was my choice to stay in Ukraine, even though I do have this opportunity to live somewhere else. But as I said, that the purpose and those questions that before were, I asked them, and I really hope that in my life I would be able to say, yeah, okay, I answered those questions. So yeah, thank you very much. And if you have any questions by any chance in this presentation, I would ask you to ask them. Yeah, or we have some questions. I don't think that we have questions online, or we can check. Okay, so guys, if you have online questions, you can also ask them, or you can, if you have any questions, additional one, yeah, you can send an email, find on social media, and yes, have a good life, have a good something, and also Sophia wants to ask something. But
Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for your story. It's, for me, even as Ukrainian, it's super inspiring, and I won't go to Ukraine. Yes, and but we can join online, if, for example, who wants. But I have questions. It's you choose already some date when it starts, or not yet, or when it's gonna be, and yes.
yeah, so as I said, schools are closed for the summer, and in Ukraine schools are closed, and basically most of the university from June, July, and August. And so yeah, it can start on September, so when the school year starts and when the universities are starting to work. And also we have vacation on the Christmas as everyone. So yeah, basically it's from the September. Thank you for your question.
Anastasia, thanks a lot. I also wanted to ask a practical question for anyone that would be willing to come. We know that now there are no flights in Ukraine, so it's not possible to hop on a plane somewhere in Warsaw, in Berlin, or in Paris, or in Brussels and go to Ukraine. But coming to Odessa, how difficult it is? What would be, let's say, an average logistics? Of course, we can calculate from every town, but let's say from Brussels. how your way back is gonna look like.
Yes, also thank you for this question. So basically you have a few options if you're coming to Odessa. For example, you can go to Moldova, to Chisinau, and this is exactly the direct flight from Charleroi to Chisinau, and then you can take a bus, which takes like 6 approximately with the border, with the customs, like 6 hours. So yeah, the flight and the border and coming to Odessa, sometimes it can take like less than 10 hours, but because of the border, it can take more hours. So it also depends. And also you can come to Bucharest, which is also kind of close. And also you can take a flight, because not from every country there you can fly to Chisinau. So you can fly to Bucharest, there's more options. And also from the Bucharest is like 9 hours bus, I think, to Odessa. Going to Kiev and to other parts, it's different. Sometimes it can be more. But to Odessa, more or less, it's like, around 10 hours of your time to come to Odessa. Thank you.
The final question also about security and protection. How situation looks like now with the bomb shelters, like in case of air raids, sirens, alerts. Are there public spaces, public bomb shelters, or like in the lodging that you will provide, will there be a bomb shelter? Thanks.
Yeah, so in a city, there are some open shelters for everyone, so you can basically see in the city like signs. Some of them are in English, I assume, yes, I think, and they are now, the government now is building more and more shelters in the parks, in the public areas, so they are on the ground, but they are fully covered. I don't know the infrastructure of it, but this is a bomb shelter on the ground. It's not under the ground, but it is on there, and it's like, it looks like basically like a box. In the accommodation, yeah, there are going to be the basement where you can hide. And also, I would say honestly that in the city, it's not a lot of the bomb shelters, but they're building those. And also maybe it is a surprise, but not many people go to bomb shelters. Yeah, unfortunately, but it is true because we live there, and which is also can be shared because sometimes the air siren on your phone beeping and you have 5 seconds and you cannot go from your floor to the basement in those 5 seconds when the rocket comes, which is also true and I think should be mentioned. So thank you. Please.
Okay, now I think it's working. So thank you, Nastya. I also wanted to ask just, because you're mentioning that you can do both of volunteering, but there's also some activities kind of included in Odessa to kind of see Odessa. Is it you that will be joining in every activities also in the volunteering and in the like visiting different places, or is there someone else that will also be joining, or is there a possibility to even kind of see some different places on your own? How does this work?
Thank you for your question. So yes, basically in the beginning it's definitely going to be me, but also we have kind of a team of also 2 other volunteers, I would say, who can manage the other people. For example, if I'm busy or I'm working or something, so there are also some other people who can lead this, visit the school or the cultural activities and so on. So yeah, there are kind of now 3 of us who can do this. And also about the free time, there's also going to be the free time where people could go to the surrounding of Odessa, or they can go to Kiev. So the program can be changeable and also adapted for the personal needs. So yeah, if you would like to go to the capital, to the Kiev or to somewhere, so you can basically go either on your own, or if you're willing to, or we will support you and we will kind of, I don't know the word, shepherd you? Kind of, yeah, accompany you. Yeah, so this is the answer.
I also have a question from online now. So from Kate Robinson, she's saying, thank you so much. It was a wonderful presentation. Is it possible to volunteer online during the summer before the bridge starts in September? And if so, what time/day would this be?
Yes, Kate, thank you. Nice to see you. Missed you, really. So yes, you can join these English-speaking clubs during the summer, because now we have a vacation also for the kids, but during the July and August, when I come back to Ukraine, we also will organize in those English-speaking club, and even we want to expand the groups. So yeah, these online meetings are available during the July and August. So Kate, yes, please join. Thank you. Can you still volunteer during the summertime? Well, I think you can volunteer during the summertime, but some kids are going on the camps, some kids are not there. So the other groups, like the local initiatives, are there. The English-speaking club is there, so also the students, sometimes they're out. So yeah, it is possible. The program would be not so different and diverse, because there not be many schools available at this time. But yeah, it is possible, but the program would needed some adjustment. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, sure, definitely.
Question in terms of organization, the next steps, what would be like? There will be a future call, and then you will be waiting for a certain number of volunteers together, so that and then for a certain also ideal period for all, or how is going to be?
Yeah. So, for example, I did have, because I started this kind of gathering people and information in the more or less in February, and I did have some confirmations, but people didn't come because it was for their own reasons, I would say. But basically, it is an option to come alone if you want to, if you're willing to, if that is your, if you can also. I would not suggest that it is safer or better to come in a group of people, because I understand that not many people want to come. So the next step is just to write me an email and to see the option when the person can come, and if there are any other requests that other person can come. So, and of course, it's better to put them all together, so maybe they can travel together, they can, basically my will meet the volunteers in Moldova, so they will not travel by themselves through the border, so I can also, will be able to answer the questions for the, how you call this, for the border patrol or something. Yeah, so for me it's not hard to go to the Chisinau by bus, then meet their volunteers, so they will feel also safer to go to the border, and also have all the documents, for example, for the volunteer registration and all of that. So yeah, this is the question of, you can come alone, you can come with someone, but yeah, my goal is to meet volunteers outside of the Ukraine and then to cross the border together.
So you're not waiting for a certain number of volunteers to go, or it's just whoever wants, just, okay.
Yeah, because, Thank you for your question. Thank you. So now, yes, we're closing the ceremony. Thank you for everyone here and online. You want to say something?
No worries, no worries. Yeah, I just want to thank you for that you came and you discussed everything, told us super clear, and we understand everything. And I hope we're gonna share this online streaming with our audience, and with more people they can reach out. And I believe everyone who will not join us tonight, they missed a lot, and I know that they missed a lot. It's the first of all, but also what I was thinking just during the session, that we can organize with our volunteer, because we have here also volunteer who can be English teachers, but I know that they will not go, but they can do online lesson with children, and that's from our side we can organize. Yes, thank you, Anastasia, a lot, and what you are doing, it's a great job. It's a great that you share your love, your the good heart with people. That's amazing, because I know, and you know your story about when you was child and some foreigners arrived to your school and you was shy to ask. I was in the same position, and it was super difficult to ask something, and but I remember my feelings when foreign people arrived, you know, and I was like, oh my God, it's not possible. And I hope that together we can do something for Ukrainian people, children, that they can see and they can discover something new for themselves. Yeah, we will do something more, I believe so. Thank you.
Thank you, Ukrainian Voices. Thank you, everyone. Yes, thank you for broadcasting and all of that. See you next time.